I'm Philip Venables. I'm a composer. I'm working mostly in music theatre and opera, and I'm living in Berlin. I think my approach to writing opera is to work as closely as possible with my collaborators, and in that sense, that there is as close a fusion of music with the other aspects like text, speaking, singing, lighting, stage movement, as close as possible for these things. I think although the three music theatre pieces which I've already made are very different in the stories that they tell, I do have a very similar approach in the way that we structure our pieces. And that is in the use of short scenes and tableau, often that are incongruous. But I work very well in not really through composed forms, but more these kinds of structures that are like mosaics of different scenes. Denise and Katja is a chamber opera that I wrote in 2019 with Ted Hoffman. It's scored just for 4 cellos and 2 singers, also with video and sound. It's based on a true story that happened in November 2016 about 2 teenagers called Denise and Katja who sadly ran away from home and had a kind of 3 days stakeout with the police. And they live streamed all of these events during these 3 days on social media. At the end of those 3 days, sadly, they died. After the events, there was a lot of coverage in the media. We read about it on the BBC, for example. So we made a piece that had all of these layers of storytelling in it, the media reports, what happened on social media, as well as the real events in the cabin. Ultimately, I think the piece is about storytelling and about the way that we deal with each other on the internet and in real life, and this kind of new phenomenon of voyeurism on the internet. All of the text in the opera has this kind of verbatim quality, and we tell the story from the perspectives of 6 people surrounding the events. The 2 performers that we have are involved in playing every single one of the 6 characters. And although one of the performers might be stronger in one character and vice versa, both performers are always involved in every single character. So there is absolutely no kind of one-to-one relationship. It is, in essence, a kind of role-play theatre game, if you like. The way that we deal with text and music in the piece, I think, is an attempt to try to bring the worlds of opera and theatre a bit closer together. It's really important that it is, as far as possible, in the native language of the audience, that the most people then can understand that quickly, and that we don't become distracted by surtitles. And I'm really happy that Denise and Katja is traveling all over the world, and in some cases it has been translated in French and German and in Finnish even. But where possible, we try to facilitate translations. It's a very iconic work in British theatre, partly because of its open form and partly because, as we know, Sarah Kane took her own life after writing it. What I find so inspiring about the text is the many, many different registers of text and the way that she deals with form in the piece. There are long poetic sections of really, really intense, dark emotions. There are abstract lists of numbers. There are lists of medical treatments and symptoms. There is kind of abstract word painting. There is such a wide variety of different kinds of text in a very, very tightly structured form. And that's what I felt would work really well in opera in an abstracted musical form, and would particularly also suit, I think, the way that I approach composing. So the opera is cast for 6 female singers, and they all play essentially one character as a what we call a hive mind. In addition to the 6 women on stage, there are also several scenes in the opera which are dialogues between a doctor and patient. And instead of using the singers to show these scenes, we actually project the text of the dialogue and have 2 percussionists playing the speech rhythms of those dialogues, almost like a kind of live surtitling of the discussion. These 2 percussionists are on stage and are, in a sense, an extension of the hive mind of 6 singers. And so I think for that reason, where possible, it's really ideal if they are cast and costumed and directed in the same way as the 6 singers on stage. It is based on this absolutely amazing book from 1977 by Larry Mitchell and Ned Astor. It is a really colourful, childlike retelling of the history of the Western world and imperialism and capitalism from the point of view of the faggots or queer people. It is told with such joy and love in the book that when I first read it and when I gave it to Ted Hoffman, the librettist and director, we immediately knew that we wanted to make a music theatre piece out of it. The piece is definitely music theatre. It's not opera, although we do use operatic voices. But we have a cast of 15 people, from musicians to actors to dancers to singers. But everybody does everything. Everybody is on stage, everybody speaks, everybody sings, everybody plays an instrument. We attempt to get rid of the hierarchies of a traditional operatic production. So we decided to make a kind of theatrical Baroque fantasia. We use all sorts of pastiche music in the piece, from folk songs to techno to Baroque music to a bossa nova, all these forms of music that bring communities together, through which we tell stories to each other and process our histories, if you like.